I'm at the Bajaj Bhavan at Nariman Point in Mumbai, the only office space shared by the entire Bajaj family. I'm here to meet perhaps the most audacious, ambitious Bajaj. A young man of 32 who decided to take on the family patriarch for what he believes was rightfully his. A young leader who insiders believe is always in a hurry to get to his goals. Kushagra Bajaj, the elder son of Shishir Bajaj, came back from Carnegie Mellon and Northwestern University to join the family business in 2001. Since then, he's been in a rush to expand and diversify. While he has managed to make Bajaj Hindustan the world's #4 sugar company, he's also had to take on the challenge of cleaning up the company's balance sheet. Kushagra, many thanks for joining us on India Young Generation Next. Let me start by asking you, I read a comment made by Shekhar Bajaj, your uncle, and he said that Kushagra wants to position himself as the ArcelorMittal of the sugar world. Is that really the ambition that you started off with?
Well, when I started off, there was no ArcelorMittal.
Yeah, that's true.
So one can't start off with that ambition. But always I think my grandfather used to tell my parents that be the best in whatever you are. You know, even if you're a playboy, but be the best playboy in the world. So,
is that what you were aiming for?
I wish, but you know, everybody's not born that lucky. But having said that, I think the idea is always to build a company in its sphere, which is, you know, which other people look up to. And one of the ways of getting there is through great governance, great transparency, and ultimately size. So that's why we are, you know, it's a tough business to be in because it's a business which is highly political in its way of functioning, and it's cyclical in nature, being a commodity.
Right.
So I think we're 50% there, 50% yet to go.
As you go forward, you know, where do you actually see yourself? Because you're already the largest in the country. Where do you actually see yourself in terms of a number?
So I think we're like the 4th largest in the world right now. The largest guy would be about double our size. So there's still a scope to go. We are in the sweetest spot on earth, which is India, from a sugar perspective, because you're the largest consumer in the world as a country, and is the 2nd largest producer. So if you want to scale up, this is the easiest place to do it, whether acquire something or set up anything on a greenfield basis. So the 2 places to do it is India and Brazil. Since we have a long history of being in this country, and the way the business is panning out, I think there will be a lot of consolidation in this industry over the next 5 to 7 years. But the intent is very much there to grow. I'm 32, don't want to retire at 32. So let's see how it goes.
But a lot has happened in the years that you've actually been around in business. You know, you started at what, 2001? 2004 onwards were really the key moments as far as Bajaj Hindustan's expansion were concerned. You've gone through a fairly public battle in terms of a family settlement. Do you feel weighed down at all at this point in time by everything that's happened, by your legacy in the past?
I feel de-stressed.
So what is the stress on account of?
I think one, you know, growth itself in any business brings a lot of stress with it, because there are competitors, not everybody is a well-wisher, because people don't want, you know, others to succeed.
Do you see that more often in the sugar business?
No doubt about it. I can tell you, we're setting up 3 plants, which was the single largest greenfield expansion ever taken place in the world. And normally crushing begins in the month of November.
That's right.
And this was September. And somebody from the industry went and got a stay in the High Court against our expansion on some legal ground. And obviously, when you do an expansion which is 50% of your size, it causes stress.
Sure.
And this is September, you need to start your plants in November. You spend 99% on capex, and you can see it all go down the drain. If it's 1 month delay, and you know how the court system is, it can take 1 day and it can take 100 years to get an order. And I guess we were just lucky. So I think we've had our moments, you know, of stress.
But you know,
plus I think the whole family saga which happened, very unfortunate. But obviously that, you know, both these factors cumulatively did add up. So I lost some hair in the process.
Okay, lost some hair in the process, but that's what I want to talk to you about, you know. when we spoke with you last in 2005, you said that you're not a very aggressive person, but that's not how the industry actually looks at you. That's not how even people within your family actually look at you. You're seen as the aggressive face of the Bajaj family.
Obviously, I'm not 60 years old, so I'm not as calm as a 60-year-old person. So I want things done yesterday rather than tomorrow. But having said that, that doesn't have to come out in terms of aggression and shouting and screaming. It can be done in other ways. So I think,
but if you hadn't fought for the family settlement, do you think your father would have settled? Do you think the separation would have taken place?
Honestly, I think the fight was between two individuals, it was not between two families. It was between Rahul Bajaj and myself. I think the relationships with the rest of the...
That's the point I'm trying to make, that it was a battle between him and you. It wasn't a battle between him and your father.
David and Goliath. I was, you know who I was.
So it was an audacious move. So what gave you that, the audacity in that sense?
No, at that time I was, it was more of that, you know, the next gen is coming. Where are we going to... you know, at that time, Bajaj Auto was by far the biggest company in the group in terms of revenues, profitability, market cap, etc. I think it was lopsided in terms of, you know, the weightage. So we basically said that there are 4 next guys in next generation, how is this going to pan out? And then one thing led to another and there.
But it was you actually leading the battle from the front, wasn't it?
I don't think my parents knew how to take the situation forward. So basically you're left into the deep end of the ocean and you're told how to swim. So you have no choice but to swim, otherwise you'll sink.
What did you feel at the end of that? Was there a sense of relief? Was there a sense of...
numbness.
Numbness?
Because for a long time in my life I thought that this will never end. And at points I thought this will go on at least for the next 20-30 years. So the reality still hasn't set in. I think it was a very nasty battle.
Okay, so anyway, that chapter is over and done with. Let me talk to you about something else that is unusual about you. It's not very often that you actually see 30-year-olds dealing with political lobbies or being able to lobby politicians as well as you probably do. How does that actually happen? You know, because your father's generation of the CII, FICCI, ASSOCHAM generation, your generation clearly isn't. What gives you the ability to mix so freely and to actually lobby so freely? I mean, you have to do it to survive because that's part of your business, but you know, you seem to have a knack for it.
Again, left in the deep end of the ocean and told how to swim. My father said in business that he was not very ambitious. He was very happy and content with what he had. And his only request to me was that if you want to grow, you have to know how to grow, where to get the money from, where to get the people from, and what you want to grow in. I'm not going to be able to help you because I don't have a desire to help you. The only thing I request of you is that whatever I've given you, make sure that that lasts. And that's not, you know, that does not die.
But the fact that your father actually said that, you know, I'm a content man, I'm happy with what I have, I'm not particularly ambitious, did that actually make you as ambitious as you are today? Did that force you to do even better? Because he was clearly sanguine about his state.
No, I think I've been passionate about business ever since I can remember. I don't remember reading a single comic in my life, but reading at that time Business India, even at the age of 5. Not that I understood anything. Read about people. I love reading about successful people in any sphere.
Success matters to you?
No, because it, you know, if you read biographies or autobiographies about people, you realize that what you see, the end result is not really all that is there to life. So I think behind every successful person there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of sacrifice. And
what's the sacrifice that you've had to make?
Losing hair.
Okay, that clearly is a sore topic as far as you're concerned. But any thoughts on moving beyond sugar? Because you've spent a fair amount of time doing this. Is there any thought, any idea in your mind
we are looking at getting into power in a big way. So we will do it, but in our private name, not in Bajaj Hindustan. So that is one foray with which we are actively considering.
And how soon are we actually going to see you make that foray? And that is a capital-intensive business, so how do you...
a very big capital-intensive business.
So how do you plan to fund that as well?
Well, there's always a mixture of equity and debt. So family will put in capital, the rest will be through debt.
The other thing that I want to talk to you about is really as far as, you know, the health of the balance sheet is concerned, because your debt has been rising and you've just done a QIP to actually bring down your debt levels. I think you've repaid about 700 odd crores?
We've repaid about 1,000 crores in the last quarter.
So where do things actually stand? Because if you compare yourself to your peers, your interest costs continue to be significantly high.
I think two things. Our debt equity is now 1:1.
Yeah.
So from a very high 2.5, it's come down to 1:1. Interest cost per se is something which is misleading, because what we have is our volumes are almost more than double than the volumes of the next three largest players.
Okay.
So just seeing on a number basis is not really good. I think the stress from the balance sheet, I think 70-80% of the stress has gone from the balance sheet with this QIP and repayment of debt. And I think next 2 years the cash flows look very strong because the sugar cycle is on the upturn. And I think because there is no raw material availability and consumption is very strong, prices will remain firm. And now whether there will be 27 bucks or 30 bucks, that's arguable. But there's enough money to be made and repay debt. There's no capex going forward in this business because there's no raw material availability. And again, as I said, there's no point of acquiring something at peak pricing.
Well, Kushagra, on that note, we'll take a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere. We will return with India Inc. generation next, and we speak with Kushagra and his father. You were very clear about the fact that you would let him do his own thing.
5 years of his joining Bajaj Hindustan, he made this company into the #1 sugar producer